One of the reasons why Flash is so hard to understand, it's because of this number one misunderstood perception of Flash and how to use it. Now, I'm going to illustrate this by showing the next picture. I want you to look at the camera settings of this picture. I'm shooting it at 1/6 of a second, f8 at ISO 200, and I want you to look at the picture. And look at that one bead of water that I pointed out. How could I freeze in time that one bead of water when my shutter speed is at 1/6 of a second? That just doesn't seem possible, but yet it is. And if you could totally understand why this happens, it can open up a whole nother level of Flash in using it. And sometimes it just clicks in for people, and I can see it when I'm teaching these workshops. They finally get it. I show them this lecture and they go, I've had literally people come up to me and go, Scott, I have been struggling with Flash and I finally get it because I now understand this one concept. And so we're gonna go over why this happens and how you can use it to express yourself. So let's go over this. And here's the number one thing you have got to get in your brain when using Flash. Flash is not controlled by shutter speed. Okay? Why is this? It is the number one misunderstood concept about Flash. Why? Well, let's examine the speed of light. Do you know how fast light travels? 186,000 miles per second. Although your shutter speed is real fast at 8,000ths of a second, that doesn't come near the speed of light. So you can't control it with your shutter. There's just no way. Light is too fast. There's something called Flash X-Sync. When you're using Flash in a manual standard system, your camera usually says you cannot have your shutter over 1/200th of a second, and that is called your X-Sync. Every camera is a little bit different. Now, there's cameras that have leaf shutters, and that shutter speed can go all the way up to 1,000 or even 2,000ths of a second because that shutter is designed differently than most of the cameras that are made now. But your typical front curtain, rear curtain shutter camera, that X-Sync is 1/200th of a second or slower. And I'll show how that works a little bit later. Shutter controls the ambient light or the light that's around your environment where you shoot it, not the light on your subject. That's controlled by your Flash. So every time you take a picture with your Flash, you are shooting a double exposure. Wrap your mind around that. One exposure is what your shutter creates, and the other exposure is what your Flash creates. And together, they create the photo. So that's why you could have your shutter exposure be completely different than your Flash exposure, and that's exactly what this picture is. The 1/6 of a second here is capturing the clouds in the background, where my Flash is capturing the subject. They're two different things. But with Flash, I'm able to shoot both at the same time, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Flash duration can act like your shutter speed. Now that's hard to understand, but I'm going to unpack that a little bit later. But when you're in a very, very, very dark situation, or maybe there's no light at all, for example, this subject, she was in complete darkness, right? When I shot her, and your subject is in a very dark area, your apparent shutter speed is the duration of the flash and not your shutter speed. Because what happens is your flash will fire on and off real fast, right? So let's pretend I'm that bead of water and in this situation. So in this situation, she was in a very, very dark area. So when I took a picture without the flash at 1/6 of a second, you could not see her. But there was light still shining on those clouds. And so at 1/6 of a second, you could see the clouds, but you couldn't see her. So what did I have to do? Okay, I got one exposure for the clouds. I'm going to put that at 1/6 of a second. You can't see your subject. I'm going to need another light source to light my subject up. I'm going to use a flash. Okay, so let's be this little bead of water about to fall on my subject. Okay, so this little bead of water is coming up, right? Boom, I fire my flash. Instantaneously it goes off. There's no more light there. As this little bead of water is falling down, do you see it in your camera? No, because there's no ambient light there. So when that fire flashed, it captured that exact moment in time. And then it went off. And so you could not see anything else. So you're seeing two exposures at the same time. Let me show you a diagram of your camera shutter that breaks this down so you can actually understand what's happening. Now, you have your camera sensor, and there is actually a front curtain and a rear curtain. So what happens is your front curtain exposes the sensor to light. And then your rear curtain closes the sensor. When you're shooting at 1/200th of a second or less, there's a moment in time when the sensor is fully exposed and there's no shutter curtain going over it. That's when you have to fire your flash. It has to be in sync with your flash. If it's not in sync, what will happen? Let's take, for example, you fire your flash while your front curtain is still covering your sensor. What happens? And some of us has done that. I have, for sure. You fire the flash, it's going to leave a shadow against your sensor. What happened? You weren't in sync. You had the wrong shutter speed because it didn't work, right? So that's why when you fire it 1/200th of a second or less, it's going to leave some time open for light to bam, come in there and light the sensor. Now here's a good question. The duration of your flash, what's the actual shutter speed does that equal to? Well, on a standard flash, on a small flash, a standard flash, when you fire it on full, that is the slowest shutter speed on full because it's firing a lot of power and then it takes a lot of time for it to dissipate, okay? And what is that speed? On full power with a standard flash, that's probably around 1,000th of a second. And that's the slowest duration that a flash will happen. So even if your flash was on full power, the slowest shutter speed that would act as it would be 1,000th of a second. So that's why it stopped that bead of water. Now, let's say you turn down your flash. Now, in that particular picture of the girl and the water on the surfboard, I remember firing that flash at 1/16th power. Now, when you use a lot less power, that flash duration is even faster. So that could be at 1/10,000th of a second. So understanding this concept is eye-opening because if I tell you you could use flash and shoot two exposures at the same time, your mind might be wrapped with creativity in doing this. And so that's what I'm going to show you how to do in some of my 7 amazing techniques, is how to take advantage of this principle. So the flash duration depends on the power that you put it at. The lower the power you set your flash at, the faster the shutter speed. So if you set your flash to 1/256th or maybe 1/28th power on a small flash, you could be at 1/30,000th of a second. So you're going to range anywhere from full power at 1,000th of a second to 1/28th power to 30,000th of a second or thereof. It's just an estimate, but I want you to know that that is the relative shutter speed.